The Champions League has finally made its triumphant return, and today I'm here to tell you everything you know about every round of 16 match, what team progresses to the quarters and why, which players can make the difference, and make sure you stay until the end, because I'm predicting many upsets that might seem controversial at first sight. For starters, we'll have another RB Leipzig versus Real Madrid. Both teams faced off last season, that time in the group stage, and they both won the match when playing at home. In defense of Leipzig, they could potentially cause an upset and eliminate Real, since Los Merengues have been devastated by injuries, and now that the matches will become more frequent, the pressure could seriously harm their performances. Still, Leipzig's form in the Bundesliga isn't really that extraordinary, and they have felt time and time again when they're put up against the stronger German sides. In this one, I'll predict a total aggregate of 5-2 in favor of Real Madrid, with Los Merengues winning both matches by 1-2 and 3-1. Next up, we'll have Copenhagen versus Manchester City, and oh boy, this doesn't look good for the Danish. Man City had a rough start to the season with several important injuries preventing them from reaching their peak levels of performance. But even without their two biggest stars, the citizens easily breezed past their group. But Copenhagen deserves a lot of credit. Not only did they progress past Man United, but they were also better than Galatasaray, a team with a significantly better roster. Nonetheless, even with Dix, Elionussi and Gonçalves on their best day, there's no way Copenhagen gets past City. So I predict a total aggregate of 6-0 for the citizens, with Haaland bagging a hat-trick in Denmark and an uncomfortable 2-0 victory at the Etihad. Before we continue, if you're looking for the best daily football content on YouTube, look no further and consider subscribing. I post predictions videos like this, keep you updated on the most important matches, and tell you crazy football stories you have never heard about. Now without further ado, let's continue the video. Our next matchup will be Lazio versus Bayern. Although the Bavarians sit in second place in the Bundesliga at the time I'm making this video, they have every reason to feel confident, since they have looked more dominant than every other team in Europe, other than Leverkusen. Harry Kane is making the Bayern fans forget Leva, while Leroy Sané has been his perfect partner in crime. Lazio, on the other hand, qualified in second place out of a balanced group consisting of Atletico, Feyenoord and Celtic, but they haven't been able to pick up any good run of form in the league, while also failing miserably against the bigger Italian sides. I Biancocelesti are currently sitting in the Serie A mid-table, and it's simply unrealistic to believe they'll be able to eliminate Bayern. I do believe they'll pose a nice challenge, and they might even squeeze a 0-0 draw at home. But then with the hellish environment of Allianz Arena, Bayern will easily rip them apart with a 3-0 win. Up next, it will be PSG versus Real Sociedad. Now in this fixture, I'm confident we'll have the first upset. In recent years, PSG have always looked a bit rusty in this stage of the Champions League. Perhaps it's the pressure, perhaps it's just lack of game time against serious opponents. Either way, things never flow that well for the Parisians in the first round. At first sight, they got lucky by being paired with the easiest group winner out of the bunch, but do not underestimate La Real. The Spanish side has one of the best defensive records across the top 5 leagues, and with the creativity of Kubo, Mendes and Merino, they can pose a threat to pretty much every European giant. In this one, I predict that PSG will draw 1-1 at home and then be held to a goalless draw in the Real Arena. The only way to separate the two sides will be through penalty kicks, and in that scenario, the pressure will be too much for the Parisians to handle, resulting in a shocking early exit from the Champions League. Continuing on, we'll have PSV versus Borussia Dortmund. And guys, trust me when I tell you, do not sleep on this tie. On one side, you'll have PSV comfortably leading the Dutch Eredivisie with an unbeatable record. Their biggest stars have been the exciting talents Joey Veerman and Johan Bakayoko, plus the former Barcelona flop Luuk de Jong, who has enjoyed a marvelous comeback season with 26 goals in 32 matches. On the other, you have Dortmund, who emerged out of this season's group of death in first place when many fans didn't even think they would be able to progress to the Europa League. With the recent reinforcements of Ian Maatsen and Jadon Sancho from the Premier League, it will be interesting to see if Dortmund will in fact be the most solid side out of the two. I don't think they will though. Dortmund has to put a lot of focus in the Bundesliga to keep their top 4 position, while PSV look way more comfortable and can put their total focus in the Champions League. In such a close tie, I think that will be the difference maker, with PSV securing a 4-3 victory at home and then holding on to a 2-2 draw. This one is gonna be a goal fest, and if you're a fan of attacking football, make sure you mark this one in your agenda. Now, if the last match was one where we could expect goals, this one should prove itself to be a masterclass in what comes to the art of defending. Last season's runners-up Inter were paired with Atletico in a bout that should work as well as a Valium if you're having trouble falling asleep. Now, in all seriousness, that's merely a stereotype, since Inter has the best attacking record in Serie A, with Lautaro Martinez and Çalhanoğlu as the true MVPs in that Italian outfit. I really think people have no idea how good Inter are nowadays. Last year, they were seen as no match for Man City and their presence in the final a true underdog feat. But this year, they're arguably even better, and while I wouldn't go as far as saying they could win it all, they certainly have a defensive record that could leave even the best attacks trembling. As at the time I'm making this, Inter has only suffered 12 goals in Serie A. However, the Champions League is another beast, and if there's a team that could be even more stubborn defensively, is Atletico Madrid. Los Colchoneros are not as threatening as they were about 10 years ago, but their starman is still the same. Griezmann is aging like fine wine, and his 25 goal contributions this season are the biggest proof that this man will undoubtedly be Atletico's biggest hope to get past Inter. Ultimately, I don't really think they will. Inter will most likely win 1-0 at home and then squeeze a 1-1 draw in Atletico's Metropolitano Stadium. Our second to last matchup is Napoli vs Barcelona. Now, this one is the hardest to predict. Both teams have been extremely underwhelming compared to their previous campaigns where they conquered their respective league titles, and at this point, their attention is fully turned to the Champions League in hopes of achieving a good run that could salvage their campaign. Barcelona finished first in their group ahead of Porto, Shakhtar and Antwerp, while Napoli got second place behind Real and ahead of Praga and Union Berlin. As you can tell, their positioning doesn't reveal much since they were both gifted relatively easy groups. Instead, the difference maker in this tie will be their squad depth. Barcelona have been affected by injuries across every position throughout the year, and it doesn't feel like things are gonna get better anytime soon. Napoli, on the other hand, will be almost in their maximum strength for their upcoming bouts with Barca, and while they don't have the same hunger as last year, I can definitely see them showing some glimpses of their dominant form from last season and eliminate the Spanish giants. I expect the first match to end 2-0 in favor of Napoli, and then Barca winning by 1-0 at home, which wouldn't be enough to qualify to the quarters. Finally, we'll have Porto vs Arsenal. Now, in this one, I can definitely give you some insider knowledge that other channels don't have on YouTube because I'm literally from Porto. Many people witnessed the shocking elimination of Arsenal at the hands of Sport in the Europa League last year and assume that Porto will be able to do the same, especially considering Arsenal is still contending for the Premier League title. There's no denying that, and to make it even more favorable for the underdogs, it's worth to note that Porto is already 6 points behind first place Benfica, so we can definitely expect the Dragons to use this round of 16 tie to leave a better image for their fans, in a year where they'll decide who's gonna be the president of the club for the next couple of years. On the other hand, Porto have had one of the worst seasons in their recent history in what comes to their attacking prowess, and their defense is also very weak, with 40-year-old Pep still serving as their most capable player. Sure, Arsenal might even lose 1-0 in the Estádio do Dragão, but the Gunners will surely have what it takes to beat the Dragons at home by 3-0 and comfortably advance to the next round. And that is it for the video. Don't forget to leave a like so I know you want to watch more content like this, and subscribe to never miss the most interesting football discussions, stories and top 10 lists. Thank you for watching till the end, I appreciate you and I will see you soon.